The Coaches Show is brought to you by Highway 55, Burgers, Shakes, and Fries, Nunboys.com, and GPS Photography and Video, GPSPhotoandVideo.com. Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Glenn Young, and I'm alongside Coach David Jorgensen.
Yes, sir.
And we're on the campus of Hoke County High School. Out here, track practice is going on, Coach. And you are the strength and conditioning coach for Hoke County Athletics.
I am, over the whole program.
That's an awesome responsibility, Coach.
It is. It is. It comes with a lot of responsibility, but it's well worth it.
Now, how many sports are you tracking here at the school?
Football, baseball, basketball, track, women's track.
Wow. And you got fall, and of course we're in spring practice now.
Yes, we are.
And I understand Coach Kelly Daniels basketball came to you, and you gave her a program for girls.
I did. Before I was here, I was actually working at Wofford College for 3 years, and I did all of their Olympic sports there. So I did a lot with the women's basketball team there. So it kind of.
So what made you want to come to high school? Did you not want to stay at that level, or just a thing of opportunities?
The coaching opportunity to be able to get back into football actually brought me back here to have a hands-on approach with football. I did strength conditioning for football there, but you know, one of the things was just being able to coach again.
And it's important to note that you are the offensive line / defensive line coach here.
Offensive line.
Offensive line. And of course you coach the Big Uglies.
The Hogs.
How they doing?
They're doing well. This year we're actually going to have a senior laden line come back, and they've put in some good work over the last 3 years, so I'm excited to see. Yeah,
this is where the maturation process is going to happen this year.
Yes,
I mean, they're all grown up.
Well, they bust their butts in the weight room, and you know, I have a high expectation level for them, and they've stepped up to it. I mean, a lot of kids shy away from that type of thing. When you put that type of elevated, I want to say demand, but it's not really, you know, I'm just trying to get them to understand what's best for them and how to work hard. And they've done a great job with it. So.
And of course they see the difference on game day, on the film, and the film does not lie.
They do, and they're hitting personal bests in the weight room right now. I call them weight room animals because every time I open the doors, they're the first ones through and they're the last ones to leave. So.
Now tell me about your different clubs that you had in the weight room. They had like, based on the different amount of max outs that they've had.
Right now we do a 4 lift total. We'll do bench press, Olympic style squat. We do a power clean and a split jerk, which are both Olympic moves. And then we take the total of those, and that allows them to get into one of the weight clubs. We're working on naming the weight clubs right now. I know a lot of places actually have
just like
names.
The 1,500 pounds, or just
right now we're a numbers only club. We start at 1,000 pounds. That's the lowest one we have, and then we work our way up to. Right now we actually have one student enrolled who's in the 1,500 pound club.
How is it working with the girls?
Technique is where we start. And I can't emphasize that to them enough. They can't just walk in and pick up 500 pounds or whatever it's going to be. And that, coupled with trying to make them understand that lifting weights is not going to make them look like a guy.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to get them to understand. Now, if you lift heavy and all of a sudden you have a 5,000 calorie a day diet, well, yes, you're going to see some.
If you want to go into that,
you're going to see some bulk in there.
Right.
But as far as just lifting weights and continuing their training for whatever their sport is, they're not going to see the giant biceps and the giant traps and you know, things that they have this misconception that they're going to have.
Now I talked with Coach Kwame Patterson, head men's basketball coach, and we were doing an interview, and he said, well, the guys lifted last night. I was like, they lifted last night before a game? I said, man, I got to talk to Coach Jorgensen. Like, what was that about?
My policy is that everybody dresses out and they participate even on game days.
Right.
All the football players, you know, that after our first year here, they had to transition to the fact that
I was going to ask you,
we lift on game days. It's not as heavy, it's not as hard, it's not as abrasive as what we do in the off season, but they still have an in-season lift that they're going to do. And what we ran into with that is some kids we couldn't get into the weight room for that first semester, so they were just beginning their first experiences in the weight room. So as everybody knows, soreness is going to take effect. You're going to have lactic acid build up, and it's going to take some time to get rid of it. And those guys didn't they're not doing the things that they themselves can do. I only have 90 minutes with them a day.
Right.
So the flexibility things, the ice, the stretching and things like that I preach to them to do on their own, it takes something like that for them to understand how important that is.
And something we saw last year, Donovan Work, prime case and example, pulled a hamstring slightly because, hey, you got to stretch out, man.
Yep.
You can't just go in there and lift it and come out here and hit them high burst speeds.
Well, and that's the transition from lifting weights to running is the warm up, your flexibility, and just being methodical about it. It's something I can't do for a week here and take 2 weeks off and do another week. I've got to do it every day.
And you work with the other sports as well. Now you also work with them on their diet?
I talk to them about diet as far as things that they could eat that would help them out as far as fuel for game day and things like that. Now, if a student actually comes to me and wants a specific diet, what we do is I start with them by doing a journal to learn what they have at home,
right,
as far as what they have access to, and then we kind of tailor it around what they have access to. Because I don't know if you've seen the school lunches here, but
oh yeah,
they're not.
Yeah, they're not as, let's just say, not as filling as they should be.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Coach, we got a little thing we call Ask the Coach segment.
Okay.
So here's your question. At what point should a student athlete start lifting weight? We have 3 middle schools, and of course you got the Parks and Recs. At what stage should that athlete start lifting weights?
Good rule of thumb is when they hit puberty.
Okay.
When they hit puberty, they can start, and you know, even before then, just non-weighted exercises.
Right.
What we do is if we have young guys that come in, we take PVC and we start teaching technique. It's an
PVC
unweighted,
being
just a pipe, the long piece of pipe that imitates the bar.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll do the lifts just so they feel the range of motion, what we're trying to do, but there's no compression whatsoever on the body.
Okay.
And that actually helps them, so when they do start adding weight, they've already had that training, they've already had that technique taught to them that they know what to do. Because some of the things we do in here are
pretty intense.
They're pretty intense, but they're also very locomotor driven.
Right.
Like we lift on several different planes, power clean being the basis of what we do. But split jerk, where that weight's overhead, and if that weight's not right behind the ear in the locked out position with the hands where it should be, you can lose balance, and that's where a safety issue comes in. So I really like to get those athletes young so that we can get them accustomed to what we do beforehand.
So at this point, we're basically talking middle school then.
Yeah.
That 7th grader, rising 8th grader.
Yep. 7th and 8th graders, we could actually start some type of resistance training with them. Now, if a 6th grader came over, he would be one of the ones that would jump on that PVC pipe, and we would be working total technique.
Yeah. And of course, we got rising 9th graders coming in this year. You have a special program from them as well.
I do. We have a beginners program. I call it either the beginner or the hard gainer program, because those guys have got to, I want to get the soreness out of the way. So I put it to them on that first couple of weeks that we're in there, and you start to see them adjust to it, and they start getting into the rhythm of what we're doing, and it just becomes second nature to them.
Hey, Coach, thanks, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it. We'll get you out of here on that one.
All right.
Coach David Jorgensen, Strength and Conditioning Coach, Director for Hoke County Athletics here at the high school. Hey, man, I'm excited about what's to come.
I am too.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.